everybody. Welcome back to The Common Theory, the internet's number one competitive Pauper EDH podcast. Maybe? Transitioning into other things as well, though. Broadening our horizons, maybe, with this episode, and maybe a few of our past episodes, the last, 3 or 4.
Just to be, honest with everyone, it's just been a transition because PDH this entire year has just unfortunately been kind of boring.
Haven't gotten a lot of new gas. I mean, there's some stuff, there's that we've talked about, some new commanders, but if you check out our last episode, you'll hear our thoughts about it really in depth.
Yeah, that and with our friend Yami finding all his old 60 card Pauper decks. That's really what's invigorated Gator to go that's right. I forgot that I love 60 card Pauper.
Yeah, and 60 cards is just in such a good spot right now. It's just so exciting to play. The bans have really, I don't want to say reinvigorated because it was already pretty invigorated before that.
But if anything, they should unban Invigorate.
Please don't. I don't want to just lose to Infect on turn 1. It's just been in a really good spot. I feel like every year it's picking up more players and people are becoming more interested in it. And I think part of that also is the economy, times are tough, right? Money is tight. Pauper becomes more feasible for people. And the cost of Magic cards in general are just only going up, and they're increasing past the rate of inflation, so.
Funny enough, in the pre-show, we were actually just talking about the Final Fantasy set.
Oh, man.
Which is if you look at the prices of cards for that, well, not the cards for that set. Actually, go look at the price of the singles for that set on pre-release. Look at how much, look at how much stores are charging for packs. Look at how much they're charging for the collector boxes. It's insane.
Yeah, supply and demand, right? It is apparently already, and it's not even out yet, it is the highest selling Magic the Gathering set of all time.
Which already beat Tarkir Dragonstorm, which was a previous.
That is so absurd that it is so high selling on just pre-orders is bananas to me.
No, which is again great for Wizards of the Coast. They're Hasbro. They're going to be coasting on free money for oh my god! Wait until Spider-Man comes out, and then suddenly Spider-Man's the most high-selling set ever.
Yeah. I mean, in general, for us competitive players, it's largely a good thing, right? Because when Wizards does well, they can put more cards and more options. That just means people are continually interested in the game. The player base stays healthy. We get more toys and we get to have more fun. So largely a good thing, I think, overall. And they've also committed to cutting back a little bit on some of the volume for the year, which also I think is largely a good thing. Really focusing on quality, and hopefully they stay true to that. But things are just expensive. Obviously it's like Magic cards, but not just Magic cards. Everything is becoming more expensive, tariffs and whatnot. So Pauper becomes just a really interesting space, right? People are navigating towards it. A lot of people who are. So, Franklin, I don't know if it's true for you as well, but a lot in my local LGS, a lot of the Magic formats, the format nights are becoming very lopsided, actually. There's a Pioneer night that I think used to be fairly popular, and now that's pretty much dead.
Well, I think that's more of Wizards having a hand in it, of not scheduling any major events in Pioneer, so no one cares about Pioneer.
Didn't they have an RCQ for Pioneer last year?
Last year, but not this year.
Oh, yeah, but still, Pioneer feels quite dead locally for me, as well as Modern, honestly, feels... Modern used to be really, really hype around here, and I feel like a lot of Modern players are either going more towards Standard, or they're dropping it and going towards Pauper, or just Commander stuff. Everyone obviously plays Commander for the most part, but the Modern scene around us has also kind of died out. Not a lot, and it's not dead, but there's just fewer people playing it. And it's probably closer to Legacy than it's ever been. Like Legacy and Modern have a ton of overlap right now, which is
kind of crazy.
I don't know, sad.
I mean, they banned Mox Opal, so they kind of have Mox Diamond, but not really. But yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I don't know. Magic's in an interesting place right now. It's in a weird spot. But with that said, I think a lot of things, the stars sort of have aligned for Pauper, you know. And I know locally there are a ton of Pauper tournaments now in the New York City area. There's just so many, and they're like huge. They're big tournaments now. Like they sell it very quickly, 100 plus people, pretty regularly. You know, 2Ks, 4Ks, bigger.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're only getting more popular. I mean, what about you? How's the scene in Florida? What is the situation like?
There's always other events going on all the time. So, like the couple of times that I've been to Cool Stuff, they haven't really been able to fire off the Sunday Pauper events because there's other card games taking over on Sundays. There's been like other just drafts happening at the same time. So I have not really been able to play more locally. That and like everyone's still stuck on CEDH. It's weird because down here everyone's still like kind of fairly new to Magic again, which is kind of weird to say. So everyone just sticks to standard the Modern Nights on Wednesdays
and a lot of draft players.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah. At least in my other LGS, Rocket's mostly just Commander players.
Weird. Yeah. I mean, Commander makes sense. Draft is really popular here up in the New York area. It's probably the most popular way. Limited is the way that most people, I think, are playing Magic here. A lot of people go to draft nights. Friday Night Magic is still huge. We're literally gonna talk about that, right? We're gonna talk about our expansion into 60 card and a little bit about the meta, where it's at, our experience with it, and what we're playing now. I know we've been sort of talking about that a lot lately, and I think it's just because like we're excited about it, and that's just where our heads are at and what we're playing right now. Before we get into it, Franklin, how are you doing, man? How was your week?
Doing pretty good. Been enjoying just watching Andor all of this week, basically. Because Andor's just been a really good TV show. I just hope everyone has time to watch it. I know it's Star Wars, and like not everyone's into it, but like it's such a good political show. Because like I wish I could get into like Game of Thrones. Yeah, like I couldn't really get into Game of Thrones because like when it came out, it was like I didn't have HBO, and when I saw like a couple episodes of it, I was like, this is too fantasy and boring for me. I'm just gonna skip out on it. But again, Star Wars is just like perfect for me. Which I guess is like the perfect way to tell everyone that I actually don't like fantasy stuff all too much. I just like Star Wars, Warcraft, because again, playing WoW was like, and Warcraft, in WoW, you're just like a theme park guest going through a whole bunch of rides and just watching Zeppies pass by. We're like, oh, cool. But yeah, just chilling, living life, being happy.
Right on, man.
What about you?
Sweet. Yeah, I've been all right. Busy working. It's been beautiful out here, so I've been outdoors a lot, which is nice. I was working my bike all week, so getting that ready for spring riding, which has been really fun or really exciting I just love like tinkering with stuff and breaking things apart and rebuilding them and like upgrading stuff. I don't know, like I work on all my guitars, I work on my amps, I work on my bike. I just like love digging into stuff and working on them with my hands. It brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, I got to clean up the bike, do like a full teardown of it, rebuild, put new handlebars on it. Yeah, it's feeling good. It's feeling really nice. But yeah, that was my week. Also playing lots of Magic. I think I mentioned in the last episode, I signed up for the monthly Paper Pauper tournament. The May tournament. I think there's like 170 people or something in this one. I've only played one match so far. It went really well. Do I say what I'm on? I don't think any of my opponents are actually going to listen to this podcast, so I'm on familiars. Yeah, my first match was against a brew. It's really interesting. It was like
what did you end up? What did you have to end up playing?
It was it's like a Teamer Dragon deck.
What the hell?
But but also turbo initiative.
What?
Yeah. What's the 2-mana? It's like, is it 2-mana? 2-mana dragon 2/2 that when you sack it red, you sack it, you get 2 red.
I don't know because isn't that like reckless? Not reckless. Savage.
Reckless Barbarian.
Yeah, Reckless Barbarian.
Yeah. So he played a full set of those, and he was like trying.
And hold on, is Tinderwall a common?
There's Reckless Barbarians, and then there was like a set of that. There's like a 3-mana dragon that when it ETBs and LTBs, it creates a treasure. It's like a dragon bard.
Oh yeah.
There's like it's like one. I think it's 1 red pip and 2 colorless. So he was playing a set of those, and his whole goal was to try and then like a bunch of burn spells, and then like this like big draw spell that was like draw 3 if you behold a dragon. It's like a Tarkir spell, which was pretty cool because he drew 3. I think it's 3 mana. I think it's like 1 blue pip, 2 colorless to draw 3, which is pretty on rate. Like that's like solid. And he had a bunch of those, and then he had Avenging Hunters. And so he was basically trying to like get like a turn for Avenging Hunter. I don't think he could do turn. Could he do turn 3? Yeah, he could. He could do it potentially a turn 3 Avenging Hunter, and then just try and like close out the match as fast as possible. It didn't go well for him, unfortunately. There was like not a lot of interaction. I mean, he had a ton of burn spells, and they did a lot of damage. They were like. There's one that was like, behold the dragon, deal 5 damage to target player or creature. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. That's
like, okay, that seems mildly spicy, but all right, whatever. You do you.
But he couldn't quite figure out like where to direct the damage. He didn't know whether to like, go to face with it or to hit my familiars and like my cards that were like creating advantage. And because he didn't like choose a lane, that like spelled his dude. That just like you have to pick one or the other, right? You have to like either shut me down and tempo me out, right? Like by killing my not really threats, but they're like my engine, so that he could like chip away with his like 2/2. It's like, okay, you can either do that or you just try and go as hard as fast as possible and just like explode out and hit me with a bunch of burn spells and just try and close out the game by like turn 5 before I can even get started.
Yeah, I think that just sounds like the better plan anyway, because like
I mean,
like, I know, like,
it's probably the better plan because the deck is generally slow as molasses. I think he just like got scared because like I would get out like a God for His Faithful. I'm like, all right, here's a 0/4 wall. Now I can block all your 2/2s. He's like, shit. And then
like, at that point, just burn for face and like, no, here's 5, here's 5. Here's 5 again.
That's probably what
for the 4th time. Here's another 5.
Immediately should have pivoted to that strategy, and I probably would have lost. But now he was like, all right, I'm going to kill the Faithful. I'm like, okay.
Like, all right, cool.
Cool, man. That's fine with me. I got plenty where that came from.
Yeah, that's part of why like I wanted to play Burn, because I like that little micromanagement decision of like, all right, do I actually hit the creatures or does it just go for face? Yeah, I have enough pingers on board. I think it can just...
It's the classic conundrum of the Burn deck, right? Like going all the way back to Sly or even before that, honestly. Red deck wins is like the skill in those decks is literally that, right? It's like when do you hold back and when do you push.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like everyone should play Burn at least 8 for a single event, just to like understand that, no, you have to figure out the math. You have to figure out, with this 7, can I do 20?
Yeah.
And what am I missing?
There is a really great article about this. It's in regards to pre-modern, but it's actually on Cool Stuff Inc. and their article series. It's an article by Michael Flores that is like, I forgot the name of the article. It's either like green red sideboard or like mono red sideboard tech for pre-modern. But it's literally about like how you like when like the different, he calls them gears. It's like different modes like a deck can have inside it. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like gear 1 for mono red is burn to face, right?
Oh, then what crazy shit is gear 5?
I mean, I think he said like most decks have like 2 gears. Some are like blessed enough to have more, but
oh yeah, okay. Then I think those would just be like different modes and not just gears. But
yeah, and then gear 2 is playing control, right? And like the longer game, and then gear 3 Gear 3 was attrition. It was like you decked them out. Pretty sure that was Gear 3. Which is like, that's like a pre-modern thing. Like, I don't think that's happening in Pauper too much. I mean, maybe against certain decks, but like I don't think in mono red, like you would run out of resources too fast to try. I think to try and attempt that, and you would just die in the long game. I don't think mono red has like an attrition game in Pauper.
No, I think the only attrition game is casting more bolts.
Yeah, some decks do have an attrition game though, but they're decks that are long control games. Like Familiars and Flickertron both have attrition games where you can like literally take the game like super long. Fog obviously, has an attrition. It's like the whole game. Like Fog's attrition game is Gear 1, basically.
Yeah.
Right. And Gear 2.
Yeah, I'll have the article linked in the description because I found it in the middle of it. It's pre-modern burn at the end of 2023.
Yeah. That's the article. It's awesome. It's a really great article. It's not just like if you're a burn player, but it's just a great way to think about the different ways your deck can pivot. And we talk about pivoting in CPDH all the time, right? It's like we always say, and Gator is like really big on this, is like he's like the top tier decks have the ability to pivot, right? They can change. And another way to think about that is this way that Michael Flores kind of thinks about it is gears, right? The different gears that a deck can possibly contain within it. And the other cool thing that he brings to the table is that the gears have a priority system, right? Like first gear is the thing that the deck like obviously wants to do when you look at the deck list. But then the next set of gears as you go down the list are less and less obvious. And the better of a player you are, and the more you've mastered the deck, the more you can utilize those additional alternate gears.
Yeah, because that's why he loves Shadow Spinner so much, and why like anyone who's a CPDH players should be listening. Play Shadow Spinner. No one else is playing that deck. Like, like Gator is not going to be around to play it. Potessus isn't around to play it. Locke doesn't play it.
Yeah.
So just pick up Shadow Spinner. It's a Voltron deck. It's a control deck. It's a combo deck. It stalls for life.
It is all those things, but I think like one of the parts of deck mastery, right, in general, is like you play the deck a lot, and as you play the deck, like trying to do other things with the deck, like and actively, like it's like Shadow Spinner, like on sort of at face value, it's very clearly a sort of combo deck, right? It's like a combo control mid-rangey kind of thing. It's trying to wheel, right? You're trying to wheel and you're trying to like accrue resources.
Yeah, you're just filtering your hand.
Eventually you find the right cards to do something, to explode out and do a thing and win the game, right? Like it's very obvious that's what it is. But then like, the Gear 2 for Shadow Spinners thing is also pretty clear. But it like gets a bunch of plus, it gets bigger and you can just bonk people with it, and it's like good at that because it's got lifelink and stuff. So but I think like the other gears are less obvious, like playing it as a control deck, right? Like if you're going to go all in on control with the deck, I think it requires you to look at your cards a little differently and pick lines and pick your card choices when you're playing your hands differently, and maybe you're at a table where you're like, okay, my role at this table actually isn't going to be going for the combo. It's also not going to be bonking someone to death. It's actually going to be slowing the game down and playing a control game, because that's actually the best fit for this deck at the table. And, I think realizing that takes some time and experience and some skill of playing the deck, but it also takes messing up. It takes making mistakes, right? You have to like, one, obviously know your cards and know their role. But you have to try. You have to say like, what if this deck can do this thing? And then think about, okay, well, if I'm going to go down this path, what cards in this deck do I feel can actually make good on that?
Yeah.
And be willing to lose, when doing that as well. Like try new things with your deck and be willing to lose, and like play lots of games with the same deck and like keep trying these different sort of alternative strategies. And that's how you master a deck. That's how you like. Yeah,
because like usually whenever I play on Thursdays, I've been doing my best with keeping the actual real hands. But like before, I would just used to keep weird hands that were like, okay, I know this is supposed to be this type of game, this type of play style for this table. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look very solid, but I trust in the deck enough that I should be able to win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not every deck is going to have. It really depends on the deck construction, right? Like this idea of gears and like being able to pivot into like these alternative gears. Like you have to build the deck in such a way that you enable these things, right? Their cards have to be in there in the first place to be able to try to do stuff. Like you're not going to try and play a control game with like all sorcery speed, high mana value stuff in the deck, right?
Yeah,
or like all like oops all creatures, probably not, at least not in Pauper. Maybe in regular EDH you can figure that out because the power levels are different. But like in Pauper, you're not playing oops all creatures with like 4 CMC creatures and playing like a control game. Probably,
yeah, no, that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah,
and that's why we always say to just avoid like oubliettes and like the sorcery speed removal suite.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, it depends on what your deck's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, not every deck is going to have a bunch of alternate gears. But some decks that I think like they will surprise you, and in how they're built and in the different ways you can manipulate and maneuver the deck, right? It's truly piloting the deck, so I call it piloting, right? Because you're like maneuvering this deck in different ways. I think Dargo Ketis is a great example. I know we bring it up frequently here, but like Dargo Ketis, everyone's just like, herder, unga bunga, like you're just.
Oh no! No, if that was the case, then a lot more people would be playing it. But instead, it's only piloted by like Aaron and like, let's be honest, the most feared player in PDH. Like they play it perfectly well every single time because like you're scared of the turn 1, turn 2 Dargo because that's what they aim for all the time.
Dude, I play more Dargo Ketis than Aaron does. But
I mean, someone has to keep the deck alive.
Yeah, I mean, no, I keep my deck up to date consistently, and I love that deck. It's my other deck apart from Malcolm Breaches. I play a lot of Dargo, but like the deck it's not just a slap you in the face deck. It can weirdly play a control game, especially my version of the deck. It's a little different than like Gator's and Caitlin's. I play a lot more instants and a lot more burn spells.
Because you can still burn people out with with the creature ETBs, all the like little creature pinger effects.
Yep, you can play an attrition game with pingers. There's a few different things you can do with the deck that are just, you just have to sort of use your brain and like look at the card list and be like, all right, well, like what are the different situations I can find myself in, and how do I move from there? Also, what helps for me is to like categorize your cards in your deck list, right? I do that all the time. I do that with like most of my lists on Moxfield. They're tagged by like their role, right? They're like, it's like, okay, this is like a direct damage, this is like a burn spell or like a direct damage kind of spell. This is, card advantage or whatever, right? I group them up into like the different things. That also kind of helps you visualize like, okay, well, I've got like 12 burn spells in this deck, right? Like, oh damn, like that's as much removal as like a control deck is probably playing, like maybe I could actually play a control game because I'm actually rocking this much removal. It's actually quite a bit more than that. If you include all the creatures and their abilities and their abilities to like deal direct damage, it's probably like 15 to 20 pieces of removal in that deck. There's probably like 25 to 30 pieces of card advantage in that deck. It's kind of nuts, right? There's almost as much card advantage and removal as like, as Malcolm Ketis or Malcolm Breaches. Things to think about. But yeah, back to Pauper.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a very offensive question about how many gears does 5-land Spy have?
Okay. Yeah, I was actually going to touch on this. Because
I've seen it like gold in popularity.
Has more than one gear. I mean, obviously, that's the beauty of Pauper, right? Like, some decks are just trying to do the combo as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and if it doesn't do it, you go down trying, right? I mean, 5-lands. Actually, you know what? 5-land Spies is a bad example of this because it does have a grindy. There's a grindy way to play that deck, especially because it's 5-land Spy. 1-land Spy, not so much. Yeah, because I mean now they're playing 4 Troll Khazad-dûns and 4 Writhing Chrysalises. I mean, you can literally just like.
How do they have the space for Writhing Chrysalis?
Hit people with Writhing Chrysalis.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the latest like 5-0 decks are 6 land spy now. We're at 6 lands.
Soon it'll just be like it's a spy deck. We don't know how many lands. So
Eventually, it's just Jund Wildfire. 20 lands.
I mean, Jund Wildfire is also doing pretty good, which is like, is it fair to call Jund Wildfire a CVT at that point?
Wait, what?
Was it a continuous variable transmission deck?
Like a CVT? Yeah. That's funny.
Or is that Grixis Affinity?
But I mean, both. Honestly, they actually operate on the same vectors. Both of those decks, in my opinion. I've played against a lot of those decks. They're pretty common in my local meta. Also, Chum, Eric, friend of the pod, he plays. I don't say he plays Jund exclusively because he also is a Wallace player, but those are the 2 decks he pretty much mains exclusively. He's a fantastic Jund player, and he's in, like, I think we mentioned this before, but he's in top 8 on last month's Paper Pauper League with his Jund list, and that deck is putting up numbers, man. He just wins a lot with it. It's quite good, and Affinity is good too. I mean, I personally think that Jund Wildfire and Affinity are probably the 2 best decks in the format.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that one because again, anytime I play Grixis Affinity, it just feels like I can't lose because I have all the options that I need.
You just draw so many cards, man. Like both of those decks just draw all the cards in the world, and they just have so much redundancy, and then also like recursion. You just have it's like you kill their stuff, well they bring it back.
It's like, oh, you killed my 2. It's like you killed my 2 familiars. I hope you enjoyed not having a hand. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, yeah, you want to negate my Blood Fountain? Sure. Okay, you wasted 2 mana on my 1 mana spell. Great.
Perfect.
I traded up on that. Amazing. You're like, damn. Like it forces you to trade in unfair ways. It's crazy. It's a crazy powerful deck. It's tough to play against. I'm glad though that the mid-range decks are kind of at the top. I feel like it makes the format a little bit more balanced. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying with like gears wise, Spy maybe less so. It's maybe like on a 2-gear plan now. Cycle Storm is a 1-gear plan, right? Like it just does the thing.
That is the most inefficient gear ratio I've probably ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You're on the opposite end of it. You're putting so much power into it to spin a tiny little wheel, but it's like a 1 to 3 ratio?
Yep. Yeah. High Tide combo is another one, right? Like it's just
well, congrats to the couple of High Tide players for actually getting there.
Yeah, it
took a while. We were joking about it, but
yeah, I built it. I have it built. I have not won a game in Paper with it yet because I am terrible at piloting it. It's just not my cup of tea. It's so cool, but I don't know. My brain just doesn't think that in the way that it needs to play that deck.
No, it's
punishing. I feel like you need a lot of patience.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look like it's needlessly complicated. It just looks like you just need to sit down with it for a good weekend.
It's not complicated. Like the actual playing the deck isn't complicated. What's hard is it's not obviously there's a lot of counting involved. You have to count in advance to make sure you have enough to go off. It's gauging whether you have enough to go off based on what your opponent could potentially have. And finding your perfect window, finding the window when you're all right, now is the time. Because if you're on either side of that window, if you're too short, then you're going to fizzle out because you just don't have enough gas in hand to go off. Or the other side of that, your opponent just has built up a whole hand of answers. They have a ton of mana open now, and there's no way you're answering all that.
Because from what it looks like, you don't really do anything for the first 3 turns.
No.
At most, you're probably just casting Lord and Revealed. Well, not even casting Lord and Revealed. You're just cycling Lord and Revealed to get the rest of your land.
You're not doing it. You're just setting up. You're just looking for Psychic Puppetries in hand and High Tides, really, and then some draw spells, to start going off. But yeah, knowing when to use your Giga Drows, when to try to choke your opponent out on resources to go for it that's the hard part. Finding the window is tough with that deck, and it's funny because I play my main deck is a High Tide combo deck. It's just FAMs with High Tide. But like for whatever reason, it's so much easier for me to find my window on that deck. But also, I feel like I just have so much redundancy in there, and it's just more forgiving because, like, if you mess up, you have Archaeomancers that you can like use to get your stuff back, or you can like flicker the Mancer to get stuff back again. You have like you can play like this grindy attrition game that I'm just very comfortable with as like a grindy attrition mid range player. So like I love that, having that as a backup, right? It's like go for turn 5 High Tide combo, doesn't work out, I really don't care. Like, you just wasted your resources in stopping my High Tide combo. That's good for me because you just went 1 for 1, and I'm just going to trade up on you.
Yeah, that's what I think I need to do more of. I need to just play more of like the kind of more grindier decks because I just have like Timmy brain. I just want to beat people in the face with like big stuff or just combo off super fast.
Yeah.
But again, like when I play Grixis Affinity, I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna slow the fuck down, not do anything, just chill, relax.
One of the big moments for me in 60 card Pauper, and not just 60 card, but like Magic in general, but like definitely 60 card Pauper is like being completely unafraid to like throw your own stuff under the bus to gain long-term card advantage.
Yeah, so the problem with that was when I started playing Elves, I was told, don't block with your Elves. I was like, okay, got it. I just won't block anymore in this format.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little different for Affinity, but like I'm talking about Affinity in general specifically because of your Blood Fountains and your inevitable recursion, right? You have like the long-term inevitability because you're eventually going to find those cards. They're going to allow you to 2 for 1 out of your graveyard. You can easily trade 1 for 1 in your creatures and not get a single shit.
I'm super sad now because like the couple of Grixis Affinity lists I'm looking at now don't have Sneaky Snackers anymore.
Only sus Grixis Affinity's list to replace Sneaky Snacker. Why would you play that card in Grixis Affinity? It makes no sense.
I love that card. That's why.
It's cool. I think the best... obviously Rakdos Madness is an amazing shell for it, but also Dimir Control was a sweet shell. Yep, Snacker Control. Very cool.
Yeah, that again, because like when I played Dredge, I thought, okay, this card's really cool. But that Dredge list was also just hot garbage.
I think that list is more fun than good.
That's exactly why I built it.
Like a tournament, you're like, I feel like everyone's gonna be packing a lot of grave hate, at least in the current format. I mean, because like Affinity and Jund and High Tide and Mono Blue Terror and like a lot of the top tier decks require graveyard shenanigans. Even Rakdos Madness, like graveyard hate is good against all of those decks. Like let's look at the top decks. How many decks care about the graveyard in the top 10? Rakdos Madness cares. Mono Red does not. Grixis Affinity does care. Elves does not. Jund does. Mono Blue Terror does. Fairies does not. Ponza, depending on the build, but mostly does not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
6,
Boggles is not doing so well too.
Rule Ramp does care about the graveyard actually. And White Weenie does care about the graveyard. I mean, like 7 out of the top 10, decks. If you include like top 15 decks in the meta, then it's like 12 of the top 15 decks in the meta care, or 11, I'd say, ish. 11 to 12 decks care deeply about their graveyard. So like, yeah, Cannon should be packing grave hate.
Because again, I'm looking at like a couple other lists that I have, like Boggles. There's no grave hate in there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how Boggles deals with really anything.
It doesn't. It just hits you. It kills you by turn 5, or faster sometimes.
Yeah, what's weird is that this other list, this Grixis Affinity list I'm looking at, also no grave hate, which is kind of weird.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing in the sideboard.
Affinity's lists are running 4 Nile spell bombs right now.
Oh no, never mind. I'm blind. It's main boarded.
Yeah, main boarding like 3 to 4 Nile spell bombs. Hilarious.
That's crazy.
That's what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. And one of the best ways to attack Affinity and Gen Wildfire is through the graveyard, because that's that way you actually 2 for 1 or more or better than that. You can brick their Blood Fountains. And like I know some Jund lists are playing Pulse Marasa. Also the Eviscerator's Insights. You can just like kill all your Eviscerator's Insights out of the graveyard, So like that's how you beat that deck.
Yeah, no, and the fact that it's just 1 mana to just blow up a yard is great. And sure, you can pay a black mana into it and draw a card.
Yeah,
it makes it so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like one of the things that I really love about Pauper, 6-card Pauper, is that it forces you to think about resource exchanges so closely and so much. Like you care so deeply about like, all right, I got to make sure I'm 2-for-1ing them as much as possible, or 3-for-1ing or better, right? And the better your exchange on resources can be, if you do that enough times, you eventually just win the game.
Yeah, no, and that's why like I just can't play Dredge anymore, because like seeing Nihil Spellbomb main board, I'm like, I'm just gonna end up losing.
Yeah,
I can't just say Molten Gatekeeper, bring back my 3 sneaky stackers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're gonna pop it on the triggers? Okay, I'm time to move to game 2.
Yeah, and like I think like thinking about your gameplay as like a way of as like a mode of juggling resources is like, it's like a mini game, right? It's like I'm trying to like accrue my resources faster than you accrue yours over a long, like a certain amount of time. I think applying that to obviously it's not apples to apples, but applying some of that thinking to PDH, I think is also pretty great, like pretty important. Obviously, you have to trade up a lot higher because you have 3 opponents, so you're looking for like, at least 3 cards, gaining +3 for 1, if as much as possible. Obviously, like you're not always going to be able to do that, right? Like cantrips don't do that, but cantrips are serving a different purpose. So like I see a lot of people talking about like how much card draws in their deck, right? In PDH, and then they're talking about cards like Ponder and Preordain.
No, those have a different job.
It's not really card draw, that's just like moving it's card selection, it's moving you through the deck. But to actually start trading up on resources, you really have to think about how to like 3-for-1 as much as possible.
No, I was going to say, because like Preordained the Scry too, I've moved those cards to the bottom all the time. For Ponder, it's a little bit harder because I'm still trying to figure out like when I actually need. Well, actually no, because it's like if the 3 cards I'm seeing are garbage, you just shuffle, draw blind, and pray to God you hit something good.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're great cards. I mean, obviously you play them in most like.
Yeah, and that's why they don't play Brainstorm.
Almost all blue decks, right? You're playing these cantrips, but they're not trading up on the resource game, and it is one of the reasons why I think Hall Marauder. I know we tended to kind of like talk shit on that card a little bit, right? But it's doing the thing. It is actually trading up on resources just by its existence every time it comes into the battlefield.
Yeah, because it's a 6-card hand advantage swing.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's the only commander that has that kind of advantage swing quite like that. That's just like built in on its own with no other cards necessary. Just does it.
Again, like if only the rest of the deck actually supported it winning.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you still need to win at the end of the day, but that card is blessed, in that way, and like as far as like resource advantage goes. So it's one of the reasons I've made like changes to my decks too. It's thinking about how can I trade up as much as possible. So one of the changes I made to Mountain Breaches is having a lot more looting cards, right? But like big looting cards, like draw 3, discard 1 kind of thing. I'm always discarding lands though, that because I'm
you're playing Breaches, so you're stealing everyone's lands,
right? So it's like even though I'm discarding, that's like a card disadvantage. It's not. It's like it's still virtual card advantage. So I'm basically 3-for-1ing with these cards, and I want like a decent volume of these things to like help me win fast. And yeah, I mean that's why the deck can actually win now turn 5, turn 6 pretty regularly without too much of a hassle. If you don't interact with it, it wins turn 5 90% of the time.
Yeah, because at that point you're already turning through the deck so much and so fast. You're finding everything you need.
Yeah, it's just made the deck really efficient, and that's been pretty huge for it. But yeah, like thinking about all your decks like in that way, I think is really great.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got Magmakin artists to like help you go through your deck even more and get rewarded for it too.
That card is a house. It's crazy. It's great. I played a few matches with it locally. Dude, once it comes out, it's brutal. It's just so much advantage. If they can't remove it immediately, that's like a kill on sight card. Like, don't kill Malcolm, kill that. Like, that thing is a problem. Malcolm's whatever. I'll recast Malcolm, but like,
yeah, exactly. That's the funny thing too. Is like I never
die.
That's something I will just never understand. Just the whole concept of like certain kill on site commanders, because like you can just recast it. You kill the other problematic stuff that they can't get back.
Yeah, now I'm playing cycling lands in the deck, so it's like, I'm playing your lands off of your top of your deck, and then I'm drawing lands, but I'm cycling them. When I cycle them, it triggers Magna Cannon Artist. And then I gain like 3 treasures, and I exile the top of your cards again, and just keep doing that.
Yeah, it's busted.
It's busted. Super busted. Yeah, it's kind of scary. I haven't seen too many other builds of that commander pairing that's quite like mine. But I would love to see more people play that card in that commander pairing.
Man, if only more people played good decks. That's my hot take.
Spicy. I wouldn't know because I haven't played too much PH. So I know we're talking a lot about 60 card. Do you have any? I know you have. Do people play? You said people aren't really playing too much locally, but like, are you playing with Chris? Like, are you playing your elves list at all? Where are you at with?
It's mostly playing with Gator at his house at this point. Whenever we go over on Fridays with like Yami and Chinaman.
Cool.
And then just playing out of like the giant gauntlet of decks that they have, like out of all like
meta,
20, 30 decks.
Meta decks?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, because Gator's been updating them, Yami's been updating them, so it's just nice to have. Again, it's just nice to play a whole bunch of decks that I don't usually play, being forced to play a whole bunch of different play styles.
Yeah, what have you enjoyed playing so far? I mean, I know elves. Anything else? And we talked about affinity.
Yeah, like I said, mostly Grixis Affinity. Burn's been really nice because, again, I like that tough question of how do I deal 20 with the cards given to me.
Yeah, what version of Burn? Is it full Pinger Burn, or are you still playing with like Tomb Raiders and Clockwork Percussionists and whatnot?
I think it's full Pinger Burn. Because the other version, because I played against that other version that you're telling me about, the Red Deck Wins version, the like fake Kodala Red, like a copium version.
Well, that is like there's like that. There's like the fake Kodala Red version, right? That's playing like Rally at the Hornburg, Burning Tree Emissary stuff. That's like going to go super wide, and it's still playing Bushwhackers. You've got that. Then you've got like on one side, then on the other side you've got like straight up old school mono red burn, which is like a full set of Kessig Flame Breathers, a full set of Thermal Alchemists.
Yeah, that feels so much nicer.
And like no other creatures, and then like just a lot of burn spells.
Yeah, it feels great because I love going turn 2. Here's a Thermal Alchemist. Turn 3, I'll play the other Thermal Alchemist, smack you, play a couple of these other spells.
Playing Secure the Critics.
I believe so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one with Spectacle, right? Yeah, it's in there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's so nice to also just do like a little needle drop.
Yeah. You're playing Lava Spikes or no?
I believe so. It's in there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I have to go through Yami's like giant list of decks and post it up in there. Actually, as soon as I find it, I'm going to drop it into the description.
Nice. Yeah, I think that deck is sweet. That's like a real old school Pauper. I don't know
because like what Gator loves to say is that he hasn't lost a single game with it as long as he finds lands. I'm like, of course, that's what Burn's supposed to be.
I don't know, man. I feel like against decks that have like a decent against white decks, I feel like it really struggles. Against like any deck that can tech in 3 or more Weather the Storms, you kind of just lose.
That's not our problem. I just burn them before they cast Weather the Storm.
That's true.
It's like Weather the Storm doesn't stack. Oh, hey, here's more bolts.
It's tough. I mean, it's just like at a certain point, if they can outlast you, you're just top decking, and then I feel
but that was going to happen to me no matter what deck I played.
At that point, you're like, all right, I'm just living on the prairie here. But yeah, I mean, I guess you don't have too many mono white players.
Yeah, not really. Like the most I probably have to play is like Call Gates.
Call Gates is weird. It depends on the sideboard, but depending on the sideboard, it could have quite a good matchup against mono red burn.
Yeah, I mean, I played Call Gates once. It was pretty nice. I really love Modern Age.
Yeah.
Modern Age is a really good card.
It's a good card. It's a little bit slow in the red burn matchup. You might want to consider if they're playing Pinger, just straight Pinger burn. You probably want to side out at least 2 Modern Ages, if not all of them.
Yeah, because
they do nothing for you.
Yeah, until they flip, and then by then I'm already dead.
Yeah, but you can. I would say probably side out 2, just because if you can dump a Prismatic Strands or a cat, and especially Strands, and then you can play a cat, then that's great because then you get free Strands, which is could be huge to
Yeah, that's the whole point,
to slow them down to hopefully eventually draw into, because if you're still alive when you have a cat on the field and it's not dead and you can get a Basiliskate, then you just win.
Yeah, but I think that was the only problem that I ran into, is that I kept drawing and kept looting and just didn't really see anything. But that's just getting Magic. It's just how much you can do about that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of draw in the current build of Coggates, and then even when you're playing Pinger Burn, a lot of the current setups for Coggates has 1 or 2 deep analysis, but you board out the deep analysis in the burn matchup because you're not going to flashback a deep analysis. That's just crazy. So it's a little tough. It's better if your deck you have a better matchup against red if you have at least 2 Outlaw Medics in the main deck.
They were main decked.
They were. Okay. And then you're just really bringing in all 4 blue blasts.
I don't know if they're in the sideboard. I have to go double check.
Oh yeah, if they're into a blue blast in the sideboard, then it might be unwinnable. It might be an actually unwinnable matchup.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that terrible. Let me see.
It's pretty bad without blue blasts. It's just your engine is just too slow, and you're playing all tap lands. It's like 10 to 14 tap lands.
Okay, I just found the Coggates list. It has no blue blasts. It has red blasts.
Oh no! Yeah. So that's bad.
Actually, why is there red blasts in the side?
Well, red blasts are important for things like high tide combo, terror. You can't beat terror without some amount of red blast. Well, I don't know. It's a weird matchup, but you really want
the side. Yeah, I mean the sideboard right now. Well, does say in progress, and the sideboard's only 10 cards, which is 2 Journey Nowheres and 2 playsets of red blasts. So it's red and pyro.
4 of each?
Yeah, 4 of each.
All right, that's just ridiculous. It's unnecessary.
I don't know. I think a playset of them should be blue, but
mine is 4 red blasts, 4 blue blasts, 3 dust to dust, 2 breath weapons, something else, and I don't know what it is. Thraben Charms, maybe 2 Thraben Charms. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because over here, all 4 are main boarded.
Okay, yeah, I've got 2 in the main board, and I've got 4 Journey to Nowheres in the main board.
Ah, okay.
Journeys are better than Thraben Charms in that deck, generally speaking, unless you're up against Dread or something.
I don't know. Having the Thraben Charms main board was super nice. It's just to combat opposing Prismatic Strands.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many graveyard decks you're facing, but honestly, your deck doesn't care about Prismatic Strands at all.
No, every single mode was nice to have.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can see it. My issue with it is against. I feel like in decks with removal, you end up only having 1 or 2 creatures out at a time for the most part. You never really go super wide in that deck, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I never really find myself having more than 3 creatures out at once ever.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was told too. Is just play the Squadron Hawks just to fill up your hand.
Yeah.
And then eventually just discard them.
No, you don't discard them. You play them. They're important to play because they can take hits, they can chomp, they can do lots of stuff.
No, part of it was sometimes you do just discard them because you don't need them anymore. But that's what I was being told at that time by Gator.
You rarely ever discard a Squadron Hawk. The only cards you ever discard are things that can either be flashback from the graveyard or lands that you don't need. And that's it. You never play a Modern Age unless you absolutely have the stuff to discard. You never play a Raw unless you're in dire straits. You have no other options. But there's a great video out there for Coggates players. I'm also a Coggates player. I've had a lot of success with Coggates in the past metas. But there's a great video by GN42 on YouTube about how to play Coggates properly, and it's really about micromanaging your resources very carefully, because if you screw up one micro decision with that deck, you will lose your game, because that deck only runs on like a razor's edge. It's always right on the edge of losing. And if you tip it make one bad decision, one bad discard to a Modern Age, you will lose that game.
Yeah, I think that's what may have happened to me when I was playing it. Because again, I was just going off of like, all right, this feels like the right choice, and my opponent was also just not playing the best. So
never discard a Squadron Hawk.
Again, that's what I was told.
It does too many things. Like it can even clear a Brainstorm like on its own. You know, it's a chump blocker. You can pump it up. It can just take like a removal spell, like against burn. They will burn out a Hawk. That means that Hawk just saved you 3 life. So you never discard a Hawk. You know, there's too valuable of a resource. Also, they fuel your Raven Charms. They help you cast Prismatic Strands from the graveyard. They're like way too important. You never discard a white creature in that deck unless it's like because you're going to reanimate it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can involve them, but I think with that we should be good for today. So, I suck with Coggates apparently, but it's okay. I've only played that deck like
watch Jan's video. It's really good. It breaks all that down in like grave detail. It really helped me understand the deck. I built it and I kept losing a lot against Eric mostly. And I was like, what am I doing wrong here? And I was just like using my Modern Ages kind of as soon as I got them to just try and like, I thought I was playing it like a very traditional blue-white control deck. You know, I'm like, I need card advantage. Like I need to put cards in my hand so I can like play counter spells. I got to find my counter spells. And that was just like a wrong way of thinking. It's like, I'm digging through the deck, but I'm actually going card negative by playing these Modern Ages out like willy-nilly. The only way you ever play the Modern Age is that you are using it to flash something back, and then it's card advantage, right? It's like virtual advantage, and the deck is all about gaining as much advantage as possible. You're just cultivating advantage. It's like
I think that was the other problem that I had that I was searching for an answer, and the only cards I had in hand were like a deep analysis and 2 Modern Ages, and I played the 2 Modern Ages, and Gator told me, Kunx, you're an idiot. You had other options. I'm like, really? What other options did I have? It's like, I spend 4 mana to draw 2 cards, or I spend 4 mana to draw 2 cards.
No, what you do is you spend 4 mana to cast the deep analysis to draw more cards instead of just pitching it to the Modern Age immediately, because your overall card advantage. No,
I saw I had extra cards in hand that I just.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Need. Yeah.
But like generally, if that's all you had, your economy is better.
Yeah, no. If I'm like helping, I'm deep analyzing. I need to hold on to stuff.
Yeah. You need maximum cards in hand. Yeah, but it's also why the deck plays 4 Lorien Revealed now. You just need maximum cards in hand, right? You're just trying to like pump cards into your hand. That deck is sweet. I love that deck. It's one of my favorite decks. It's just in the brute scale meta it was really bad, and now it is like mid. It's okay, but it's really slow. Yeah,
again, that's why I liked it, because it's like a little micromanagement game. But
it's fun for the right kind of person. A lot of people are going to feel like playing that deck is like watching paint dry, and some people like that.
Yeah, again, that's why I enjoy having like all the broad spectrum of decks. Yeah. That's why I've been enjoying Burn, and I enjoy Gristle's Affinity, because like I can go whichever mode I want to go for that day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get some games in over the next week, and you get to flex your affinity muscles, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
I know I have a bunch of games this week. I have a bunch of league games, so should be a good one.
Yeah, and so with that, Rohan, or where can people find you for this week?
You mean find us?
Yeah.
Oh, you can find us on all the places. You can find us, of course, on YouTube, because that's presumably where you're listening and are watching us right now. You can find us on Patreon at Common Theory PDH. You can find us on Instagram as well, and Discord.
We also all on TikTok. And if you guys can help us out, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by hopefully end of August.
Yeah.
So if you can, share this video with everyone that you know.
If you're not already subscribed, that's crazy. hit the button. Sign up for notifications if you're into that. That would be great. It helps us out.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, follow us all over on Spotify as well. One day I'll understand how Spotify works, and I'll actually pay for Spotify. But
you know what? I'm not a Spotify user.
Yeah, nor am I.
That's crazy because
my wife is.
We're the only my partner is. She gives me a lot of crap for. She's like, why don't you just get Spotify? I'm like,
because I pay for YouTube Premium.
Oh, I used to pay for that way back in the day. No, I play for Tidal.
That's funny because I thought it would have been the other way around. Yeah, no, I prefer YouTube Premium and then just do the family plan because I use YouTube way too much. Yep, and with that, everyone, don't get addicted to YouTube. Put your phone down after this video. And if you're listening to this in the middle of the video, why did you skip all the way to the end? What's wrong with you?
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. But all right, everyone, have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching. And if you want to support the channel, please subscribe and join the Discord in our link below. And become a member over on our Patreon.
Shout out to all of our patrons: Eric, Cobraman, Aaron, Dax, Devin, NYC Burrito, Little Rat Lotad, Frank, Scoob, HZ, and Too Much Do. Thank you for all of your support.